Welcome back. You're still watching Sprint, and we're still joined with the Taekwondo coach and sports journalist Wael Mahran. Once again, I'd like to thank you very much for joining us.
Thank you, Sharif.
So, heading towards the tennis update, and very quick tennis update, and looking at the US Open and the entry, the third day, and things, are getting more exciting as days goes. If I would ask you about, for the men's competition in specific, Novak Djokovic with huge domination throughout the season, Roger Federer with a comeback, Rafael Nadal very far, Andy Murray, there's possibility, Nishikori. If you can tell us, how are you seeing, the men's competition and how it's going to be landing?
Well, the US Open is a very exciting tournament because of the hard court, and it's a fast-paced tennis tournament, and there's a lot of action going on, and many surprises usually happen. And of course, this time after Cincinnati, after Federer dominated Cincinnati and beat Djokovic in the finals, and he was in a superb form, and he was really amazing. And I think this is very challenging for Djokovic, of course, to come back and to prove himself and to win the trophy. Very challenging for Nadal, who is coming back. He played, I think, maybe yesterday or the day before, and he was very good. And he's supposed to meet Djokovic on his way to the finals, and this will be another exciting and very important match. So it's very nice to watch such a competition and to follow up these giants playing.
Why is the comeback for Cincinnati in specific received a lot of positive remarks and attention from everyone? Because Roger Federer, is it because the age? He was the former #1. Is it because the importance? But again, Novak Djokovic had done it all this season, yet this specific title has received a lot of positive observations and remarks from a lot of analysts.
Well, because I think first Federer 2 years ago, he was joined by Stefan Edberg, a tennis giant and a very famous celebrity in tennis, and I think since then his scores and his performance started to be different. When you are a champion, you are a legendary champ like Federer, you need someone on your stage to tell you what to do and to tell you that this is wrong, you have to correct it, and this way is, you have to change this and change that. This is not an easy thing, but he did it, Federer, and the past 2 years he achieved a tremendous progress, but still he didn't beat Djokovic or Nadal or the big names in tennis. He was going till the semifinals and then stopping. But this time he made it and he won the title, and he won it and he really deserved it, and the performance was great. The problems he had before are a lot less, the mistakes are a lot less. So I think this is why it's really amazing to see someone playing in the age of 33 or 34 like he was in 25 or 26.
Yeah, and I think also the Grand Slam being the final one in 2015, I think this is going to be an interesting edition, with Novak Djokovic, with this, continuous momentum, and usually you find surprises in the last Grand Slam.
Yeah, the presence of this competition is very exciting for everyone, because no one wants to see only one player dominating the sport and winning all the championships, and especially when you want to see a legendary player like Federer going down, and you want to see him again playing, and you see him winning again. This is excitement, and this gives more momentum, as you said, to the sport and to the tournament itself.
Yes, all right. Let's move now from tennis to your expertise in Taekwondo, and we're really glad to have you today to be speaking about this topic. It's the first time that we're speaking about Taekwondo. I'm not liking this fact. We definitely, as media, we should be focusing more on this game, especially that you already have amazing results there. The last edition, as a continuation of speaking about athletes and different sports, we had the discussion around Hala Abdurrahman and the achievement being the first ever Egyptian, to land a medal as an athlete. Today we're speaking about another great model. Maybe you can speak to us more about Hidayah and being a world champion, and not everyone knows about that.
Yeah. Well, before I get into Hidayah and what she have done this year and the past, actually maybe the past 3 years, since the Olympic Games, the last Olympic Games. Let me tell you that this is not something new. Shooting club, the club which I belong to, and I'm honored to be there as a head coach and as a coach for maybe 25 years, has been always producing giant players and Olympic players. We have always had...
You've been a player.
Yeah, I've been a player. But I was honored to be a colleague of giants like Amri Khairi, legendary world champion, and 2 Olympic Games medal in Seoul and Barcelona. Khalid Fawzi, bronze medalist in Barcelona. Mustafa Al-Abrakar, Amr Slim, world champions for so many years. This has been in the sport since a lot of time, and in shooting club especially. Hidayah is a very special and unique player. She has been excelling since she was young. She won the national championship for seniors when she was 14 years old. And this was for the first time. This is a competition where you beat each other. So it's very odd to find a girl 14 years old beating players maybe 4
or 5 years.
Yeah, 4 or 5 or even 10 years older than her. And she went to the Olympic qualifications only a couple of months after joining the national team. She wasn't a national team player in London, and she won the Olympic qualifications, and then she played the World Universities Championship. This is the most important, one of the most important championships all through the year, and she won the gold medal, which is the first time any Egyptian have done that after Amr Khairi and Khalid Fawzi. And Hidayah then played the Olympic Games in London 2012, and I was honored to be there.
She's the first female to do that.
She's the first female to win a gold medal in the World Universities. This never happened. In any World Championship, Taekwondo, we never had a girl winning a gold medal. This was the first time. And it was the first time for a girl to achieve, I think in that year only, 2012, she won 6 medals. 5 of them were gold medals in Europe, which was the first time. In Holland she won, and in Spain, and in Manchester. She won in several games, all in a row before the Olympic Games. In the Olympic Games in London 2012, she did very well.
And how old was she at that?
She was 18 years, and I think she was the youngest player in her weight, or one of the youngest players, and she did really well, and she reached the round of the quarterfinals, and she lost against the champion of Europe, who was 10 years older than her. And she was a world-class player, and she was a world champion, and she lost by 1 point difference. She was 1 point away from a bronze medal, which is really good for a girl her age back then. Then
that was at the Olympics.
The Olympic Games in 2012. Yes. Then she have gone through so many championships after that, since 2012 till now. The most prestigious were. First, she went through a very important camp in France, which lasted for 5 months. And here I would think, this is on screen now. This is an article about her when she played with France, the World Cup.
Yes.
Egypt did not participate because we were not qualified as a team. But we had one player like Hidayah, and she was practicing with the French team in France, in Paris. And they chose her as the only participant from outside France to play with the French team. She was the only one out of France, and France was the champions of Europe. So this was very odd because they have a very strong team. But they placed her as a very strong addition to them, which the World Taekwondo Federation allowed in that championship only.
Is that possible to have?
Only in that championship it was possible because the World Taekwondo Federation wants to promote the sport more. So if you are in a country that did not qualify to the World Cup, but you are a super player, and there's a country who wants to get you to play with her, you can.
That's interesting.
Yes.
It's like a very unique way of,
yes, it was the first time, I think, in Egyptian history for a player, Egyptian player in Taekwondo play with another team, a French team, who are the champions of Europe in the World Cup.
That's the pure selection. It's not your connections with...
No, it's pure selection. They selected her. And she played really well. The article we saw seconds ago was talking about how her impact was very important to take the French team to the semifinals, and then she had an injury in her leg and she lost in the semifinals. This was the most prestigious championship she won. The picture with her smiling back then. She won the bronze medal in the Grand Prix in Russia. The Grand Prix is the most important and biggest championship throughout the year organized by the World Taekwondo Federation to promote the players, qualify the players for the Olympic Games. So you have to play. Everyone plays in the Grand Prix to get points to qualify for the Olympic Games. And she played and she won, I think, 4 matches, and she lost in the semi-final against the world champion. And she did really well. She was very close. She was maybe 3 points behind, and she was chosen as the Miss Grand Prix of the championship. This was a special prize. It's actually a prize given by all the coaches and referees and the administrative head of teams. They all select one player to be the Miss Championship,
regardless of the results. It's like, you know, promising players.
Of course, it has to be good. She has to have good results. Yeah, good results. Yeah. So she was picked up as the Miss Grand Prix. It's a mix of style and performance and beauty. So she was chosen as the Miss Grand Prix of Moscow 2012 and this 2015. And this was very honorable and very proud.
It's honorable because, you know, about, you know, a veiled Egyptian, you know, athlete.
Exactly.
With this level of competition, this is an amazing achievement by itself.
Yeah, well, she is a unique player, mentality, character, performance, momentum, and desire to win, and the eagerness to come back if she's back. She was injured in January, February, and beginning of March. She had her leg in cast, and she didn't practice at all. And this was a very tough moment because this is 1 year before the Olympic Games, and everyone is playing everywhere, and she can't play or even practice. But she made a comeback after that, and she started winning, and she won in Austria, she won in Australia, bronze medal, and then she won the Grand Prix bronze medal. And then finally in Poland, maybe a week ago or less than a week ago, she won the gold medal in Poland, which is very important also, and was a very good achievement because she played in a weight above her weight.
Yes, and while you have been her coach for how long?
Well, actually, I'm her coach till now because she is camping with the national team, and she has a very good Spanish coach for maybe 7 or 8 months now. Mm-hmm. But whenever she's not camping, she's back here with us at the club. And I'm very proud to say that before every championship, every big championship, she needs to come to the club and she practices with me and with her colleagues at the club. And this is something she always does. Before the Olympic Games, she did that, and before every big championship, before Poland even, she was with me at the club practicing. So it's like a team, a cooperative group of people. Yes, yeah. Because
everybody's pushing from.
Yes, because I can't bring down any effort done by the Spanish coach. He's very good and he's very understanding. He has a great mentality, and he has done a lot of input and a lot of addition for the national team in general, yes, and for Hidayah in particular.
Perfect. Let's now move, you know, to an interview by Hidayah that she has done, yeah, and listen more to this, you know, world champion. And know more about her and about her statement in the last competitions.
Congratulations, you've just taken a bronze at the GP. How are you feeling right now?
Thank you for the, I'm so happy that I won a bronze medal. This is the first time for me to get a medal in the Grand Prix series. So I want to thank God first and thank my family and friends and my coaches, of course, and the national team coaches and everyone.
Super. The very end of that fight, you were literally chasing your opponent round the mat. Do you think you could have won it if you had timed it a little bit earlier?
Maybe if I started more pressure earlier, it would have been better. But I hope, hopefully next time I can win.
How's the rest of this competitive year looking for you?
We have 3 more Grand Prix series, so I'm looking forward to getting gold medals and hopefully going to Rio and getting qualified from the first 6.
Okay, well, let's hope that happens. Is there any message you would like to give to family, to friends, and to Taekwondo fans back home in Egypt?
I just want to thank them all and thank Coach Rosendo and Gulsha and Tamer and Osama and Nido and all the coaches in the national team and my coach at the club and everyone.
Okay. So,
family, of course.
That's a very gracious series of thank yous. Thank you very much for appearing. Good luck for the rest of the series.
Thank you so much.
Welcome back. You're still watching Sprint, and we're still joined with Wael Mahran, sports journalist and also taekwondo coach. Once again, I'd like to thank you for joining us.
Thank you.
It's a great interview. We heard about, you know, how she looks really humble, but also ambitious at this.
Yeah, actually, you can never know that she's a champion or she won gold medals or any medals at all. She's very humble, and she's down to earth always in her attitude with her colleagues, with her coaches, with even younger players and kids at the club or junior players who look up to her. And she's always cooperative, always standing by her team, even in a local competition. If she's not playing, she comes and watches, and she supports them. And she's a very nice girl, and I hope that she does what everyone is dreaming of, the Olympic medal, inshallah.
All right. Let me ask you about, you know, taekwondo in general. How does it, you know, feel? How is it progressing? Taekwondo, like you mentioned, from the names like Amr Khairi and the legendary players, it has been a consistent game in Egypt ever since. But let me ask you, how is it going today and how is it developing?
Well, we've always had the know-how of the game and how to produce world-class players. Of course, after the game started to be an Olympic sport and to be a formal Olympic sport, things were different because all the world started paying more attention and spend more money and focus on system and how to produce players throughout the years. This is what we try to do in Shooting Club. At the small scale we always focus on quality, and we're proud to have Hidayah and Saif Issa won the only bronze medal in the Youth Olympic Games for Taekwondo in Egypt, which is a very important medal and a very honorable medal. He's also competing in Indonesia tomorrow, and with Hidayah and with the national team in another important international championship, and this is how it is. Unfortunately, we don't have a sort of organized work from the junior level till the senior level. It's always that you're working with individuals, and you always look for support. So some support from the federation, support for even one personnel at the federation, or from a businessman or from a club, but it's not a collective work. Though I have to say that the Minister of Youth, Engineer Khaled Aziz, is giving a very huge support for the sports in general, and especially for individual sports like taekwondo, like judo, like athletics, like wrestling. And he's always following up. For example, in Poland, I sent him the news after Hidayah finished the match with 5 minutes. And then he called me right away, and he told me what happened, how was the championship, what was her result in the finals, and he posted congratulations for her, right? Maybe 10 minutes after the winning. And
very keen and supportive.
Yes, he's very supportive, and financially, we're not below anyone around the world. We have, I don't want to say a lot of money, but we're going everywhere like everyone else.
But how are these players receiving the right support in terms of finance?
Well, individually, no. They're not having the right support. They play because they love the sport. And for example, there is a student in university, so her university is understanding and they're helping her, but she has subjects for an exam in November that she didn't go for last year, which is, of course, a block for her. And they're not having any money in return or any financial support whatsoever individually. But they're doing what they love to do. So this is what is going on. We need to say that we don't have the mentality of what we want from the players. Do we want to win local championships and become good coaches and good clubs that we achieve results?
What is exactly the target? Yes.
Exactly. We need to have the target at the club or the federation.
Isn't the normal target is, you know, running for Olympics and gaining the maximum medal?
No. This is not the normal target. Is running for a local championship to receive a bonus from your club, to receive a present from their parent, to be happy and to live happily ever after. No one is looking for something happening after 5 or 6 years. They look for something happening next month or this month. This is what we lack here in Egypt, and that's why we don't have an organized teamwork behind players. So we don't have maybe 5 or 6 players in that sport, 7 players in this sport, and so on. We only have one every once in a while. It's not something that we control. It's something that happens because God is supporting us and giving us talents, and some of us, because I don't want to bring down any efforts, because, for example, in the Taekwondo Federation, Mohammed Shaban is a friend of mine. He's a member of the board, and he's doing full support for Hidayah from day one. He saw her talent and has a vision, and he's doing her everything she needs from the campings. He was the one who arranged for the French camp in France, from the participating everywhere, from being always behind her, and he was also greeted by the World Taekwondo Federation. He is now Vice President of Technical Committee in the World Taekwondo Federation. It was the first time for Egyptian to hold that position, and many other individual officials before in different federations going on. Because I don't want to forget anyone, but generally this is not a collective work, and this is not collaborative work done by individual from several individuals. Me arranging with him, arranging with someone else, and then getting somewhere, and we can get there. We couldn't, but it's not some work done with a whole organization looking forward for something else in the future, for a better future for the sport or for an athlete.
Yes, help me understand this. Because there is some promising signs in terms of the athletes in specific sports, like, for example, Alaaddin Abul Qasim, have Abdurrahman. We have good weightlifters and wrestlers. Swimming is in a better position. Volleyball is better. Handball is getting, not really good, but again, once again better than before. So there has been some sort of enhancement. Do you think with this stage and shape, do you think athletes would be able to gain, the ultimate targets of having more medals than what we saw in 2012, which was very poor performance?
Yeah, well, usually this is very hard because countries plan for 12 years ahead, not 4 years. So all what we have done was planning the last year, maybe a year and a half, and it's not usually a plan.
It's luck.
Yeah,
more or less.
Yeah, but now, because God is helping us, and because we have talents like Ihab Abdurrahman, like Hidayah, like Siham Salahi in the Taekwondo, also like Ramadan Darwish in Judo, like several other players, champions actually, if we want to do something with them, we have to do the right thing from now till the Olympic Games. There is no trial and error and no possibilities for any messing up with time. Every day counts. So if you are late, you won't be there. So you have to do what's needed to be done. If you can't, you have to send them abroad, somewhere where they can do the right thing, and not keep them here. This is very important. If you know what you're doing, then go on and do it till the Olympic Games. If you don't, then let someone else do it, because they are champions, they are there, and they achieved world-class medals, and they qualified for the Olympic Games. Then you have to do what everyone is doing, because everyone is preparing. No one is sitting down and checking what to do, camping here or there, playing this match or the other. They know exactly what will be done till August 2016, the Olympic Games. So if you don't know what to do, then go for someone who knows, or just copy. But don't improvise, don't waste time and say, okay, we'll wait till the embassy sends the visa.
You don't think there's any planning yet for the Olympics?
Well, actually,
it's scattered, like you mentioned.
Actually, for Hidayah especially, there is a plan. I know there is a plan, because she's playing till next January, championships all over, the African Games.
You told me that we tried to get her into the edition, and you said that she's always traveling. Focused.
Yeah, she's in Indonesia. She's playing on Saturday in Indonesia, and then she's traveling the next day to Congo, playing the African Games, and then the next day traveling to Turkey to play the Grand Prix in Turkey, another World Championship in Turkey, and then I think Manchester after a month or so, and so on till December, and then we can say who qualified, who didn't, and who needs 2 more points, and what should we do. So for Hidayah, I know there's a plan. For everyone else, I'm not sure. So I'm hoping there is, because, for example, the swimming, I know that there is a plan, because they have been doing very great progress.
Yes,
I know Farida since 5 years, and she was very good, but she wasn't a world-class player. But now she is, and I know the swimmers, Ahmad Akram, Al-Amash family, and others are doing great, and I'm hoping that they're on the right track with their plans for Rio, inshallah.
Right, from Taekwondo, let's now move to the Grand Prix and the MotoGP in specific, and the Italian great Valentino Rossi, who won a rain-hit British Grand Prix to take a 12-point lead over Yamaha teammate George Lorenzo as Marc Marquez's hopes of retaining the MotoGP title all but vanished. Let's have a look at the story.
Valentino Rossi won the British Grand Prix in weak conditions on Sunday to reclaim the outright lead in the MotoGP Championship, with Marc Marquez crashing out in another blow to his title defense. Rossi, a 7-time world champion, finished in 46 minutes 15.61 seconds on his Movistar Yamaha at the Silverstone circuit in central England for his 4th victory of the season. The Italian tops the standings on 236 points, a lead of 12 from Jorge Lorenzo after the teammates began the race tied for points. Lorenzo was 4th in an eventful race in front of 73,000 fans, during which British rider Carl Crutchlow was taken down early by LCR Honda teammate Jack Miller before Marquez fell with 8 laps to go. Ducati riders Danilo Petrucci and Andrea Dovizioso were 2nd and 3rd to complete an all-Italian podium. Petrucci was 3.01 seconds behind Rossi and claimed his first ever podium finish, having started 18th on the grid. Marquez won the last 2 championships and set a lap record in qualifying to claim pole position, is 77 points behind Rossi with 6 races left. The next Grand Prix is in Misano, Italy. The start was delayed for 30 minutes after rain on the grid forced the riders to return to the pits and swap for wet tires. Rossi qualified in 4th place but was in the lead by lap 2 and had soon pulled away from the field with Marquez. The pair had a gap of 7 seconds to Petrucci by the 9th lap, but Rossi's pace proved too much for Marquez, who crashed out on his Repsol Honda at Cobb's Corner. Rossi relaxed in the closing gaps and won easily for his first victory at the British GP.
Welcome back. You're still watching Sprint, and moving on now to football, and starting with the transfer season. And Wael Mahmoud will be speaking to us more about, the latest on that.
Well, actually, it was a very hot summer season on the transfer area, and we saw Al Ahly and Zamalek especially provide their squads with very important players and very big names, and spending more money than ever before. I think I think there were rumors that they reached 100 million pounds of economical and financial expenditure in the Egyptian league, which is a very big number for a league that has no fans, and it is not going on as it should be since maybe 3 or 4 years. So the numbers are big, but of course Al Ahly is backing up his squad because they want to win the trophies for the next 10 years, and this happens always when they lose one trophy. And Zamalek wants to support their squad for the future, and they are now champions of the Egyptian league, and they want to win on the African side also. So it's a very hot period of time, and we saw a great competition between them on players. I think Al Ahly did great in that season with, especially with the African players. They are very important and strong players and important strikers. I think this was a very big hit for Al Ahly, and lately, yesterday they signed Ahmed Hijazi from coming back from Fiorentina in Italy to Egypt to Al Ahly. And I read an interview with Ahmed Hijazi, and he was talking about his offers that he got, and it was very true. And he said that he only got offers from the second league in Italy, and it wasn't very respectable offers. And Fiorentina offered to renew his contract, but with a very small wage, and he didn't accept that. And when he came back to Egypt, it was normal to come to Al Ahly, who is more stable and the biggest team in Africa, and a club who appreciates a talent like Ahmed Hijazi.
Yes.
And of course, both Ahly and Zamalek had a very good signings this year, and we're hoping to see.
Do you think this will have a turnaround in terms of, because both of them, they're giants, but they landed in the Confederation Cup, rather than going to the African Champions League? There has been, a hiccup.
Yeah, well, it's something normal if you see Al Ahly's circumstances, because Al Ahly had maybe 8 to 10 players on the injury side all over the season, and he had the players registered in the African Championship, but out of the squad or in injuries or whatever. And of course, the change of the coach also was something that brought them back for a while at the beginning of the season. But in Zamalek, it was a surprise actually, because in Zamalek is a stable squad. The coach is doing good. Everything for the first time since a long time is stable. They have complete support from the management over there. So it was really a surprise to see Zamalek out of the Champions League and playing in the Confederation. But we hope that one team passes through the final and wins the trophy. And of course, we hope that next year we see both clubs in the finals, inshallah.
Yes, interesting. So, in general, you feel confident about transfer. Let's speak now about the Egyptian Cup. And how do you think it's heading?
Well, it's also exciting to see Al Ahly on the excitement and the anger to be back and to fulfill his fans, because it's never usual for Al Ahly to walk out from the season without any trophies. And Zamalek, at the same time, he wants to prove themselves, and he wants to this time the league and the cup at the same year, which is also important. Al Ahly, I think, has a very big dilemma with the squad, because they have actually two squads, and both are players, superstars, I think. So if you want to play Malik Ivona and Antoine, for example, on the striker's side, so where will Mut'ab go, or Amr Gamal, who is the striker of the national team now? Yes. If you're playing Ahmed Sheikh, for example, and Ramadan Subhi or Roman Zakaria, so where would you put Walid Suleiman and Abdullah Said? So it's a very big dilemma, and it's of course good for a coach, for a good coach and a strong coach. It's very good to have two players on the same level, the same squad. But it's also a headache if you want to teach them and make sure that they know the mentality of the professional players, and that they understand that it's a competition, and if he's better, he will play, and to be patient and to wait for the right moment. This is not very common in Egypt, and this is a very important thing that Fathi Mabruk will have to deal with the upcoming time.
Definitely. We'll be moving to the Egyptian national team and briefly, but before that, let's head to an update also with cycling, and Dutch rider Tom Dumoulin, who edged out Chris Froome in a frantic final to claim a victory and the overall race lead on the 9th stage of Spain's Vuelta. Let's have a look.
Dutch rider Tom Dumoulin edged down Chris Froome in a frantic finale to claim victory and the overall race lead in the 9th stage of the Spanish Vuelta. The rider accelerated past Froome on the final 100 meters of a Category 1 climb to the finish of the 168.3 kilometer stage from Torrevieja to Combra del Sol to win in a time of 4 hours, 9 minutes and 55 seconds. Froome, who is aiming to become just the third man to win the Tour de France and the Vuelta in the same year, was 2 seconds back with the Spanish Joaquim Rodriguez in third. Dumoulin now leads the overall standings by 57 seconds from Rodriguez, with overnight leader Esteban Chaves a further 2 seconds back in third. Froome moves up to 8th overall, 1 minute and 18 seconds behind Dumoulin. Colombia's Nairo Quintana is now just 1 second ahead of Froome and remains 8 seconds back on the Movistar teammate Alejandro Valverde. Froome had been briefly cut adrift from the other general classification favorites as a series of setbacks were launched with just over 3 kilometers to go. However, he recovered brilliantly and looked set for the stage win as he moved ahead in the final kilometer, only to be undone by one final push by Dumoulin. The race had earlier been dominated by the news that Belgian rider Chris Beckmans had undergone surgery after being placed in an induced coma following a crash-ridden stage on Saturday. Race organizers confirmed that Beckmans is stable and could be brought out of the coma by doctors tomorrow. Meanwhile, Peter Sagan became the latest in the number of high-profile riders forced to withdraw from the race. The Slovakian was hit by a motorcycle on Saturday and suffered first and second-degree burns on the left side, according to his team. Ireland's Dan Martin, American TJ Van Garderen, and the French Nasser Bouhanni were all forced to abandon after being caught up in the same crash that injured Beckmans on Saturday.
I could have never imagined to do it on a steep climb like this. I knew that my shape was the best I ever had, and I used a good tactic today. I just hung on the steep parts, and I attacked on the flatter parts because they were all looking at each other.
دقيقتين صح؟ Welcome back. You're still watching Sprint in the final segment of this edition. Looking now at the Egyptian national team and asking you, Wael, about, how is the shape, the new coach Cooper is trying to pick, the new squad. There has been a number of professional players now that are attributed to strong teams, and it looks kind of optimistic, but I need your judgment on that. How is it going?
Well, I can say that we can judge from even from next match with Chad. Chad is a very lower level football player, football country, and the team is not even competing. So we can't judge right now. We need to see for example, we need to see the national team playing with respectable teams, even on a friendly basis, to see how are we performing like everyone else, playing with teams like Ghana, like Ivory Coast, like for example, internationally, like important teams like France, like Netherlands, any respectable team who has a mentality in football and has a name in football, to see our players, how are we matching with these people, how are we preparing. But right now we're preparing by gathering the players before the match and then going to play, which is, I think it's a very short-term preparation and not sufficient for doing a good performance and a performance that would be comfortable for everyone else watching and supporting the team.
With, you spoke earlier about the current transfers with the professional players, with the new coach, with a relatively more stable domestic competition. Do you think this would add any difference with a deteriorating performance and shape for the national team for the past couple of years?
I think it's positive for Rami Rabia and for Higazi, for example, to be back, because they were not playing abroad. So they were on the bench most of the season, and for various reasons. But having players like that in that age on the bench is totally destructive for them. So being back in Ahli, at least playing locally and on the African level, is important for them to be back in form. Of course, if the championship goes on and becomes more effective, the fans are back, the financial side is good, and the players are motivated, I think this will raise the standard of the teams and, of course, the national team eventually. So I think it's positive generally, but we need to see the national team preparing better and playing with countries, and we see them playing and performing, not necessarily getting a good result, but at least performing well, so that we feel that this is a good promising team for the World Cup.
Let's wish them all the best, and at the end I'd like to thank you very much for joining us, Wael Maharan, Taekwondo coach and sports journalist. I'd also like to congratulate you and Hidayah for the great achievements, and wishing you the best on the upcoming competitions and also the Olympics.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. And with this we come to the end of this edition of Sprint. But before we leave you, we head now to the Belgian youngster Thomas Pieters, who actually managed to win his first EPGA, and that was in the Czech Masters in golf. We'll be moving now to the story, but before I leave you, I'd like to thank you very much for joining us, and I hope you have a great night. Goodbye.
Belgian youngster Thomas Pieters won his first EPGA tournament on Sunday as he surged to a 3-shot victory at the Czech Masters. The 23-year-old from Antwerp came into the final day with a 1-shot lead and kept his nerve down the stretch with a rock-solid 3-under par round of 69 to finish on 20 under and relegate Sweden's Bilderberg into second. Englishman Matthew Fitzpatrick carded a final round of 4 under 68 to lie alone in third place, 4 shots behind the champion. Englishman Robert Dinwiddie came home fourth on 14 under and 6 back, while 3 players including Italian Renato Bartoli, Rupka of Finland and Denmark's Torbjorn Olsen were a further 3 strokes back and tied for 5th. Frenchman Gregory Baudy had one of the best rounds of the day and climbed into a tie for 8th on 10 under, following a 5 under 67. Formerly Copeland, the tournament became the Czech Masters in 2014 and is played at the Lushbar 72 Albatross Golf Club in Prague.